No matter from which country you're coming from, no matter from which culture somebody is coming from. This whole life is based on the decisions you are taking. Some people take that type of decision, which leads to a consequence. Other people maybe take better decisions, which leads to another consequence. Ultimately, it's about the decisions. But how come sometimes people are confronted with the same situation, but they take completely different approaches, they take completely different decisions? It is because one of them has more or the other one has less access to knowledge, to experience than the other one. So what all of this theoretical learning, practical learning, what all of this is supposed to offer to you is just a whole bandwidth of solutions, which we think is very good to have, walking through this lifetime, not only as a martial artist. It doesn't matter from where you come from. The more possibilities you can access, the better for you. This is like one of the key messages, let's say. Nothing of everything I say, nothing is ultimately good and nothing is ultimately bad. What everything has is consequence. This is the way how, when I'm looking out in the world, if I look onto actions of people, if I look what are people talking about, what are people doing, what I'm looking for is, what's the consequence of it? It's not the initial thought to say, this is bad and this is good and this is how it's supposed to be, or like that. It's not in my field of influence, and it's also not my obligation to do such things. The main idea why I would like to spread all of these things out is that everybody has somewhere his possibilities where he can self-express himself in a certain way. It's completely free as what do you see yourself, as what would you like to express yourself, and with that expression of yourself, how would you like, or maybe don't you like, to contribute to the world? It's completely up to you. It's just that every type of expression bears a consequence. It can bear a consequence for you personally, but it can also bear a consequence for people surrounding you, maybe your family, maybe even the people that you are on a daily basis are surrounded with in general. This is what it means to bring out the potential of someone. Which potential? The potential to express yourself. If you don't realize that potential inside of yourself, what you can and what you can't, other people will tell you. Other people will put you in that category where they think you would be useful for. Yeah, but this is not what I think is the intention and the purpose of you living this life. I think for all of us, living this life means you have the right, in a way, to self-express yourself as long as you don't harm other people along this way. Humans have the same issues in every country, regardless of nation and culture. There are some things that are just connected to being human. At the same time, I realize that some nations, some cultures are very much embedded also in the way of how they were brought up, meaning with a very specific type of looking at the world. Another part of this world has other ways of looking at the same problem. Everybody is looking for the solution of their issues. And sometimes there is not only one answer. Sometimes the answer from them is correct and the answer from them is correct. Because sometimes the answer and the solution is based on the person itself. I have learned along this way that the more you shine, the more shadows you cast. It just goes hand in hand. That's the price for all of this. The more you go out, the more you are exposed in a way, the more silent, the more alone you are in other times. That's just the way how it is. What is a mistake? What is a mistake? Now the thing is like this. It is impossible for a human being to walk through this lifetime without making things that the first time they do it directly go right. What I mean is, everybody will do something which will go wrong, no matter in which type of field. But after it went wrong the first time, the question is, how are you going to continue? If you are starting to be wise, intelligent, you are observing the situation. Why did you make it wrong? What was the mistake? What went wrong in it? If you are confronted the second time with the same situation and you make it wrong again, so apparently you didn't learn something. And in the way how Confucius expresses this is, making something wrong the first time is not a mistake. It is your chance to correct it. But making the same situation over and over, wrong again and wrong again because you're of the unwillingness to learn something from it, that is the mistake. That something goes wrong the first time, this is not the mistake. If you don't learn from it, if you don't observe the situation, take the knowledge out in order to make a better outcome for the future, if this is not your trial, if this is not what you're aiming for, then it's a mistake. So in a way, it is the same that nowadays we are already expressing with the term of, that's why you need challenges. You will fail definitely a few times. The question is, what will you take out of these failures? And in the way of people, for example, yes, it can happen that you made in the past, took some decisions, took some actions that have shaped your present life right now and also will have an impact on the future. But we cannot undo the past. Therefore, the question is, what will you take out of this lesson that you have? You did one thing wrong in the past. Now it's following you your whole life long. First conclusion is, I need to better take care about what I am involving in. Message number 1. Now, some things you cannot undo, yet there is still the possibility to rebalance things. And there are different ways how you can approach it. For example, by doing a lot of charity work. You did wrong to many people in the past. Now, do something good for many people where you are excluded. Let's say, charity work. Invest some of your time to take care of people that they can benefit from your work energy, let's say. These are very practical ways that in our tradition we also sometimes make use of. Charity work, donating. This is where all of this comes from. Yeah. Because it takes something. It takes something from you in order to live this way of life. Everybody talks about letting go of the self, letting go of the illusion of the ego. Yeah, how? For example, like this. Do something that is not for the benefit of yourself. Invest your lifetime, a few hours, a few days every week, every month, and do something where other people are benefiting from your work. This is what I think is a practical way how that maybe guilt that some people still feel nowadays can be reduced. Before you were taking, now it's time to give. When things are rebalanced, then you can continue on another path again. But before anyone continues, you need to rebalance. Sooner or later, this balance is going to come. The question is if you will be forced to rebalance or if you are able to observe yourself already, see where you are standing and start from there on to directly take it in your own hands to balance what is out of balance.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider supporting us at mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now get the Memento Mori poster, a poster to remind you you're going to die, with 10% off using code STOIC.